Welcome, Kelly,
Thank you.
our Chief Strategy Officer.
Happy to be here. All right.
The funnel, is it dead?
I don't think the funnel is dead, but I think the funnel is very different than what it used to be. And thinking about the traditional funnel needs to be adapted based on a much more segmented and fragmented customer journey than what we saw 5-10 years ago. As far as kind of how does a user make a decision, there's still the awareness, the consideration, and the purchase, right? And understanding where the client is today, where we want them to be, what's the objective of the campaign. We have to understand, are we trying to drive awareness? Are we trying to increase education? Is this more lead gen focused because we've already checked those two boxes? And then yes, there are tactics, there are platforms, there are approaches that we would apply from a strategic perspective in order to help get them to that next stage in the journey faster.
Yeah, I don't know that I think it's dead either, and I think you're right that I don't think I said it's gone away. I think that if anything, it's gotten much wider in the sense that there's a lot more one can do once they're in the funnel. When I think about it, I think there's also, if you were to challenge anything about the current way that we talk about the funnel, there's one way in, and the only way out is through the bottom.
Yep.
I would argue there's multiple ways in now, right? The funnel is not just open at the top. It's actually open at the sides as well. And I could be the kind of person who's considered the purchase of a new phone for a while, and I just happen to be in the right space of the right headspace. I'm sitting on my couch. It's 9 o'clock at night. There's nothing going on. I open Instagram. There's an ad for that phone I've been thinking about. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
But I would still argue I still was in some form of that funnel. So whether or not the visual is being adapted in different ways or not, I think conceptually the premise remains the same.
It's just not as linear, I think, right? Like we used to think about it as just one phase in, and then you have to trickle through all phases in order to get to the output.
Yep.
But I think now, to your point, like it's super specific to industry. It's specific to product. Like how many times have we fallen victim to an Instagram ad? Yeah.
Talk to me about how you think about that when we are putting those sorts of programs together for our clients.
I think something to keep in mind is authenticity, right? Like when we go back to the mindset of when do I turn to a search engine versus when do I turn to AI, what we do from an organic standpoint in AI is look for optimization in brand reputation and overall visibility. And as much as we can do to drive upward trajectory of both of those key metrics, I think that that's all still yet to be finalized, and we'll probably continue to iterate. But I think that we will lead clients around conversations of making sure that when we're showing up, it's authentically because we deserve to be there. Because I think then that circles back to the organic side of things, of brand reputation and visibility. And if we're offering ourselves as the solution to their need, their research, then we should be right. Because I think that goes back to if the funnel is dead, it's kind of more in that feedback loop model that a lot of marketers are turning to as like the new funnel, where advocacy, retention, repurchase become signals of really strong kind of brand continuity. And I think that we have to tap into that genuine nature of when a client shows up to make that true.
I want to underscore though, we both agree the funnel is not dead.
No, the funnel's not dead.
It's changed.
It's changed.
It's widened, and I can maybe insert myself into that process at different points than I could before. And I think a comment we touched on a moment ago, I can also accelerate through it much faster than I ever could before. I really liked our hot takes at the end of the year. So in 2026, we're going to try closing each one of these out with a hot take relative to the subject matter. So today we've talked about everything from how we think about the funnel, how we think about media mix relative to the funnel, messaging relative to the media that we're deploying it across, how we think about all of that working in concert together. You can offer one hot take on how we think about, or you think about this very differently. What is it?
I would encourage brands to really embrace authenticity and measurement based on business outcomes. Move away from vanity metrics, move away from conversions as kind of like your number one KPI, but think about, even if it's not a clear path, how can we model ROAS? How can we look at how each part and piece of media and advertising programs are circling or laddering back up to those brand and business objectives? Because I think that's how you'll get measurement versus chasing shiny objects of new platforms, new tactics, the latest AI.